Causes of a negative pregnancy test with no periods. You are experiencing no periods, but when you do the pregnancy test, it is negative. What are the causes of a negative pregnancy test despite that you are having no periods? In today's video, we are going to talk about what could be causing this, what could be causing the pregnancy test to be negative, and yet you are not seeing your periods. Gerald Massa, the health educator, is the name of the channel. We are going to talk about this after this message. Hello, welcome to our channel. I'm Gerald Massa, the health educator. On this channel, we talk about pregnancy related questions. We answer all your pregnancy related questions. We also do talk about conditions including fertility, infertility, endometriosis, endometritis, and also we do discuss issues regarding polycystic ovarian syndrome. Let me know if you have any questions, and welcome for today's lesson. You are most welcome, and stay with me today as we talk about today's topic. Welcome. Hormones. When a woman has low hormones in her system, there is going to be a negative test, a negative pregnancy test showing, but specifically there will be no periods. What happens is that for periods or the menstrual cycle to be really regular and balanced, the hormones should be balancing. Specifically, the HCG hormone, known as the human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, when it is very low, let us say when it is below 15 mil international units per mil, normally what is going to happen is that the pregnancy test may not be able to detect the HCG hormone. The HCG hormone, remember we said it is that hormone that shows the two lines on a pregnancy test. So when the HCG hormone is very low, then there's going to be a negative pregnancy test. But this could be that you are pregnant, but the issue is that you have the HCG levels have not really gone to the normal. So the first cause of a negative pregnancy test, despite the fact that you're not seeing your periods, is the low levels of the HCG hormone. Ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy simply means a pregnancy that is extrauterine. Extrauterine, this is when the pregnancy is not in the uterus. If fertilization has taken place in the fallopian tubes, specifically in a place called the ampulla, after fertilization has taken place, there is going to be formation of that egg. That egg specifically forms a collection of cells known as the morula or the blastocyst. That round-shaped structure or that round-shaped fertilized egg moves down to the uterus, where it implants or where it attaches on the uterine wall, and then it grows into an embryo and definitely into a fetus. But what happens is that when fertilization takes place and the fertilized egg, instead of traveling to the uterus, remains in the fallopian tubes, that is in the ampulla. Ampulla is that junction of the fallopian tube. When the fertilized egg remains there, then we say that is an ectopic pregnancy. A study was done and it was discovered that women who tend to have ectopic pregnancies normally may not show a negative, may not show a positive pregnancy test. They may actually show a negative pregnancy test, and of course there will be no periods. For a negative pregnancy test with no periods is lifestyle factors. When we talk about lifestyle factors, specifically we are talking about stressors. A woman who is highly stressed, stress may be external, it may be internal. External, it may be coming from the environment. Internally, it may be coming from how a woman feels. So when we talk of excessive stress, we are talking about issues that may be happening in the body of a woman. Also, there may be issues happening in the environment. So excessive stress normally brings about hormonal imbalances, and these hormonal imbalances may end up actually affecting a woman's chances of getting pregnant, and she may end up getting the signs of pregnancy and yet she's not seeing her period. So lifestyle factors, we are talking about issues like excessive stress. You should work on stressors. You can do this by avoiding the stressor, adjusting to the stressor, and also altering the stressor. You can also talk to your counselor if the stress is really too much. The main reason here is that when a woman is stressed excessively, there will be a hormone known as cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and cortisol is against a woman getting pregnant. It interferes with a woman's chances of getting pregnant. A woman who is in a happier relationship, a woman who is less stressed, may produces more of progesterone, and progesterone is a pregnancy-friendly hormone. Progesterone is a hormone that favors pregnancy. So for a woman to have enough levels of progesterone being produced, she should actually manage the stressor. So we've talked about our next cause of a negative pregnancy test with no periods. Next cause of negative pregnancy test with no period. Breastfeeding. When a woman is breastfeeding, what happens is that there's a hormone known as prolactin which will be produced. Actually, prolactin is produced from the time when a woman gets pregnant and even starts on her journey of getting pregnant. But when a woman is breastfeeding, there will be changes in her hormonal levels, and this can actually cause pregnancy-like symptoms. Breastfeeding can actually bring about cessation or stopping of the period. So the next cause we've talked about of a negative pregnancy test with no periods is breastfeeding. Next cause of a negative pregnancy test with no periods. Medical conditions. When we talk of medical conditions, we are talking about issues or diseases of the reproductive system, and these diseases are very many, but we shall pick out the key diseases which tend to cause a negative pregnancy test with no periods. And the first on our list is what we call polycystic ovarian syndrome, abbreviated as PCOS. Polycystic ovarian syndrome simply means there are plenty of small cystic areas, or there are lots around 10 to 12 small circular growths or masses on your ovaries. That's why we call them poly. Poly means many. Cystic means a fluid-filled cavity or a fluid-filled mass. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is a condition of hormones. Specifically, it is characterized how can you tell that a woman has polycystic ovarian syndrome? She will be having irregular periods. She will be having what we call anovulation. The periods can stop all of a sudden. They can stop actually for a very long time, and then there will be presence of the cysts we talked about, presence of the polycysts. So polycystic ovarian syndrome can also go ahead and give us a negative pregnancy test, but when she's not having periods. Remember, stopping of the periods is being brought about by the hormones not balancing. A woman who has polycystic ovarian syndrome actually has more of the male hormones, that is testosterone or free testosterone in her bloodstream. So she needs to see her gynecologist or fertility specialist, and tests can be done to identify what could be causing this. Under medical conditions also, we can talk about other conditions like presence of fibroids. We can also talk about conditions like specifically conditions like a woman who has used like lots of drugs which have affected her system, and then also if a woman has undergone procedures like dilatation and curettage in a hospital, and also manual vacuum aspiration of pregnancies can also bring about this as a result of adhesions. Adhesions as growths, or they are areas, they are growths that are left behind when a woman undergoes operation. So, and what needs to be done is that when a woman is having, or when a woman has undergone any operation, she needs to have what we call a pelvic ultrasound scan to confirm what could have caused this. Thanks a lot for staying with me for today's lesson. We have talked about the causes of a negative pregnancy test with no period. The causes of a negative pregnancy test with no period. And we have said that the first cause of a negative pregnancy test with no period is low hormones. Next cause, ectopic pregnancy. Next, lifestyle factors, breastfeeding, medical conditions. So the causes of a negative pregnancy test: you do a urine test for pregnancy, but it is negative and yet you are not seeing your periods. You could be having low hormones, you could be having ectopic pregnancy, you could be having lifestyle factors causing this. You could also be having what we call a medical problem, for example polycystic ovarian syndrome, and also you could be breastfeeding. So thanks a lot for watching our video for today. I hope you've learned something in today's video. You have learned that the causes of when you don't see your periods and you do the pregnancy test, you should not worry that this could be maybe a pregnancy issue. No, you should go ahead and consult your doctor, your physician, and also before you go and see your doctor, you could also watch this video. It's talking about this, and we have summarized and we've said that the causes of a negative pregnancy test could be due to low hormones, ectopic pregnancy, lifestyle factors, breastfeeding, and it could be a medical condition. Have yourself a fantastic and healthy day, and may God bless us all. Bye bye.